What's the most humiliating thing someone's done to you while pretending it was just a joke? When I was 22, I worked at a small family-owned Italian restaurant. It was the kind of place where the lights were low, the pasta sauce was made from scratch every morning, and the staff felt like family. I took pride in my job. One night, we had a reservation for a group of 6. They showed up dressed in expensive suits and glittering jewelry, laughing loud enough for half the room to turn and look. From the moment they walked in, something in my gut told me they were going to be trouble, not because of how they looked, but because of how they looked at everyone else. Like they owned the place. I went over with my best smile and welcomed them, but they didn't even look at me when I spoke. One man waved his hand like I was a fly. Yeah, just bring us menus. No please, no thank you, just cold arrogance. I brushed it off. Some people just have bad days. But as the night went on, it became clear this wasn't just bad manners. It was cruelty disguised as confidence. They snapped their fingers to get my attention. They called me girl instead of my name, even though I introduced myself twice. One of them made a joke about how I probably couldn't afford to eat in the place I worked at. The turning point came when their main dishes arrived. One woman, wearing a diamond bracelet that could have paid my rent for a year, poked her salmon twice with her fork and loudly complained that it smelled weird. I offered to take it back to the kitchen and replace it, but she smirked and said, "Maybe next time get a real chef." I remember feeling my hands shake, but I kept my voice calm. While I was clearing their appetizer plates, one of the men accidentally knocked over his glass of red wine right onto my white blouse. The liquid spread fast, dripping down to my apron. He chuckled and said, "Oops, guess you're used to cleaning up messes anyway." His friends laughed, but not one of them offered a napkin or an apology. I excused myself to the back, fighting back tears while scrubbing at the stain, knowing it wouldn't come out. The chef, my boss and the kindest man I knew, made the woman a new dish immediately. When I brought it out, she didn't touch it. Instead, she took out her phone, started recording me, and said, "See, this is why service jobs are a joke. You can do everything wrong and still expect a tip." Her friends laughed like it was the funniest thing in the world. By the time they finished, I was praying they'd just pay and leave, but they weren't done. The man who'd been the loudest all night tossed his crumpled napkin into his half-empty wine glass, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "Oh, and by the way, we don't tip people like you. And if you really want the bill, maybe we'll post a little review online. Let people know how awful this place is." Then they stood up and walked out. No tip, no apology, just smug faces. I remember clearing that table with tears in my eyes. Not because of the money, though I needed it, but because of how little they saw me as a person. They didn't even think they were being rude. To them, humiliating people in lower jobs was just normal. The next week, one of them came back with a date. He acted completely polite, smiling at me like we'd never met. I realized right then, sometimes the rudest, most heartless people don't think they're doing anything wrong. To them, it's just another Tuesday. Now, the moment I see someone treat a waiter, cashier, or janitor like they're invisible, that's it. My opinion of them is set in stone, because if you can't show basic human decency to someone serving you, you're not just rude, you're rotten all the way through.